Hi everyone, it's early Sunday morning. Decided to do a personal video, a fairly non-controversial one. Just a bit of a rave about a certain number of topics. Things have happened up here of recent times which I'd like to report on, and a few things globally as well. But none would get the wrath of big tech coming down with the censorship hammer on me. At least that's the hope. It is rather pathetic to see people like Tim Pool trying to dance around and work within the ambiguities of YouTube's censorship purge that's taking place at the moment. He actually, because he's such a big contributor to the platform, he actually has his own contact at YouTube, and but I don't think it means much. I mean, they're just minions. They don't make the decisions. It's the people at the top who are making the decisions on these matters, and they're probably the most woke people in the organisation. Would not surprise me. But anyway, look, I don't want to chat about the censorship thing. It's a hot topic. There's plenty of people discussing it. This is more of a personal video. Just on a personal basis, just a little bit of background about me. It's funny. I'm a classic contrarian. My parents obviously emphasis on having what supposedly is a good education sent me to a private school, which would have cost my old man quite a bit of money. And I feel a little bit guilty about that. But it was interesting going to an institution like that. But the funny thing is that when I was a student, say around 12, 14 years of age, I was the token Labor voter in the school, and so I was the odd man out, and I didn't get that much stick for it, but there probably were some sympathisers there. But of course, I've done a total 180 now, and when I went to university, of course, everyone was left wing. At least they weren't prepared to say they weren't left wing. They were too afraid. And that's when I had my awakening about moving to the centre and then to the right. One of the instances that actually made me do that was it gave me a bit of an anti-union bias, because it was Gas and Fuel Corporation. I had a bill from them in a rented house, and I paid the guy to come around and do some maintenance. I paid him cash, and then I rang up and I got a bill from them. I shouldn't have paid cash. It was actually supposed to go on the bill, but the guy was corrupt, the guy who did the actual repair work for Gas and Fuel. And when I mentioned this to the person on the phone, she was obviously a pro-union woman, and she said, "Oh, don't bring that up. Don't even talk about it. It's the way it is, and you can't do anything about it." Basically, she's just running cover for the unions, and that really put me off. Now, having said that, I've got to say, in other respects, I'm not a full-fledged free market at all costs person either. I've always supported the Medicare system in Australia. I feel as though a rich, affluent, developed country can afford to provide universal health care for its citizens. And it's a good thing I've been consistent on that one, because I've been actually drawing out of that system quite a bit as I've got older. And so it's held me in very good stead, and but I've been totally consistent on that. So I'm not a total free market guy, but I do believe that wealth is generated through private enterprise, and I think we have a lot of crony capitalism these days, where people like corporates are basically given a lot more protection by governments than small business. I think small business gets the small end of the blunt end of the stick, or whatever the analogy is. They're not getting the best deal, and I feel sorry for them, because they do provide quite efficient service generally. So that's my little blurb there. But as far as what's happening here in Cairns at the moment, I'm actually looking around for another place to live, as you probably already know, and I did actually find a place that I'd actually looked at previously, and it was, I'd counted it out, because it's gigantic. It's like over 300 square meters in size. But a lot of that is actually, there's a couple of courtyards there. So there's a couple of open courtyards. It's a very Mediterranean design. and it has 3 bedrooms, which I don't need, but I suspect they haven't been able to sell it. They've actually reduced the price. Well, they were asking for over 400,000 initially. Now it's down to 399. And it's in the ballpark I can probably afford if I get, say, a bridging loan from a bank. And I have looked into that, and that's another part of this video. Because I mean, otherwise I'd have to sell this place to get the money to actually purchase a property of that value, which I do want to do, but maybe not during summer, which is not a good selling season because it's stinking hot up here. Although the weather right now is quite nice. We had a bit of rain a day or so ago, and it's quite pleasant right now. So that's summer for you in Cairns. It's up and down, up and down. It's going to be very humid, very hot, and then you'll get the break with a bit of rain and what have you. Overall, quite a pleasant place to live, but you know, when it's a stinking hot day, it's a stinking hot day, and it's never really much fun. Anyway, so I've actually now I've put this particular place back on the list because it is big, and there's the colour scheme's a bit, but the and the bedrooms have carpet, which I don't understand up here. I don't know why people have carpet at all. They should just go fully tiles, but no, they don't. So look, it's got a lot going for it, but one of the things I noticed actually, it is really close to a Coles supermarket. It's only about 1.5 blocks away. I've never been that close to a supermarket before, but far enough away. It's in a little enclave, so it's just far enough away from the main road and where Coles is to be relatively secluded. And it's about 500 metres from Clifton Beach. So it does tick all the boxes. I actually did put in a request for an inspection, and I haven't heard back. Now that was on Friday, and it's about 36 hours later and I still haven't heard anything. But again, we're talking Cairns. It's a bit different up here in far north Queensland. Although it wasn't my experience last time I was looking at this place. The agents were relatively conscientious. So maybe the message didn't get through, but I'll contact them again tomorrow if I don't hear anything and chase it up, because yeah, I want to actually I want to look into that. I actually also contacted Commonwealth Bank. I didn't about possibly getting a bridging loan, so I don't have to actually sell this place to make another purchase. I can get the finance, a couple $100,000 finance, because I've got, you know, I can supply half. I can pay for half the house, but not more. So I'd need some bridging finance just to get me over until I've actually sold this place. I'd imagine I'd probably sell this place for about 210, maybe 220. I don't know. Another place in the block sold recently. Was advertised for 230. I don't know what they actually pay, what they got as their sale price, but it was had bigger land area, so it's not apples and apples really. But I paid 205. If I get the same back, that's my first goal. Hopefully a little more. We'll see. But anyway, in summer it can be very difficult to sell a place up here. Although there's all those Victorians that now can come up here now. So it's a bit different this year. It's not a normal year because of COVID. So that might have just basically thrown out this... I mentioned that word, which means I may now not be okayed by YouTube. That's how draconian these rules are. You can just make one tiny slip. It's a regime of terror. It's insane. It's like a Kafka novel, you know. Oh boy, Franz Kafka. Anyway, so that's I actually got a phone call from Combank, and I hadn't actually even finished the application online. I pulled out. I just wanted to find out some details. And the guy actually rang me up from Brisbane from a call centre and got a few details. And it looks as though I've got a chance of getting this particular bridging finance, mainly because I got the collateral for the loan. I own this place outright, so I have collateral. But, you know, I was quite surprised how aggressive they were. They actually rang me, even though I hadn't actually finished the actual application. And they said that... They could only slot me in until next Thursday at the soonest to speak to one of their loan officers. So that's how busy they are up here too. I guess before Christmas is a bit different. So that was interesting. So look, if I do get to do the inspection, I'll take some shots of the area. I've never been to Clifton Beach, but it's not far from Trinity Beach or Palm Beach. It's in between two of them. So it's a definite possibility. So I can't count anything out because there's not many places on the market, so you've really got to go for it. My Christmas fiasco, well, it ended up okay, but when I went to Woolworths, I've been to Woolworths a couple of times trying to find a frozen turkey, a full turkey. This time, last Thursday, I actually found one, and I purchased it, but gee, it wasn't easy buying a turkey from Woolworths. Main reason was that there was only one turkey there. It looked a bit strange too, shape-wise. It was frozen, but it looked as though it might have been bashed about a bit. But although the cover of the turkey, the actual packaging seemed to be intact, so it was okay. It was marked S. They had colour-coded markings for the size of the turkey. Now this would be a 3-kilogram turkey, which is more than enough for me. So that's what I wanted. I wanted the smallest turkey. So luckily they only had one full turkey. I prefer full turkeys to getting pieces of turkey. I don't think they're as tasty. I like the full bird. But anyway, luckily there was one there. But trying to buy it was a nightmare. Mainly because the barcode on the thing was pretty mangled as well. And they couldn't scan it. And even though it had a big S on it, and they had a number of colour coded like S, M, L and XL or whatever. They were all marked quite clearly which size it was. It was obviously a small one. So what they had to do at the end, I dealt with 3 different customer service officers. Only one of them really knew exactly how to get around this, and she wasn't the one who served me. So the other one had to keep going back and forth between her and the other one. I mean, it's just a nightmare. If you get a situation like that, you'd like to have the person with the most knowledge if it's a difficult case. So I was waiting around for a quarter of an hour or so. I was almost at the stage saying, forget it, it's just too hard. But the ones that they do have frozen turkeys at Coles as well, but the Coles ones are bigger and they're Steggles, and I don't want to basically support the Steggle family at all after Zali Steggles. Green candidate as she won the seat off the former Prime Minister, and I wasn't happy with that. So that's my little protest. I will not buy a Steggles chook or turkey ever again. Not that I've ever bought. I don't know if I've ever bought one actually. But actually the other thing is that this turkey fits me better anyway. It's only 3 kilos, so different company. So that's good. This is the trouble when you're relying on technology like barcodes. If they don't work, you're stuffed. Oh boy. The MSN, Sky News in particular reported that the Elon Musk's test run with SN8, which is his prototype for the Starship, it was a disaster and put back his plans to colonise Mars. That was the headline, and it was just total BS. I mean, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to SN8. I've got the Lust in Space channel on Bitchute, and I've done my research, and I know how Elon Musk operates. He was expecting there to be a problem with it. He said it was only a 3rd chance that it was going to be a successful launch, and he was very happy overall and congratulated his team on all the data they did pick up. It just landed too quickly. One of the engines didn't ignite, so it was going too fast, and it basically exploded on the launch pad. It was actually accurate. It did accurately land, but it exploded. But these dimwits at Sky News, they reported it as a major disaster for the whole program for Elon Musk. They didn't understand a thing about how Elon Musk operates. He's building over 15 different versions of this Starship prototype so he can keep bloody trashing them and learning along the way. That's how he learns. That's his process. And they had no idea. And it got to the stage where what was interesting is that of course I put in a critical comment, but there were a stack of them, and it was ratioed like it was I'd say 10 to 1 against the report. There was thumb down, 10 times thumbs down to thumbs up for the report. And it's amazing how many people do understand how Musk operates and how ignorant the bloody journalists are. They're useless. They just do not have the knowledge. And it was this young guy, I've seen him on Sky News before, and he didn't have a clue what he was talking about. And it's embarrassing. And it got to the stage where Sky News actually pulled the original clip because of all the negative comments. So that's their way of actually handling the situation. They just basically removed the clip altogether, all evidence. It sounds like big tech, doesn't it? It sounds like big tech or other MSM who just basically cut off the president's speech, for instance. It's the same situation. Again, I'll probably get censored for saying these things. I can't help myself. I just wanted to do a nice non-political video, and now I've bloody done it. I'll put it on Bitchute anyway, so you can watch the whole thing. It won't be censored on Bitchute in any case. So anyway, yeah. So they basically then put on another clip with an expert, the guy they use for science and technology, to explain the thing, with this absolute brain dead reporter. I didn't even bother watching that particular clip, but I just thought it was so... It just says everything about the mainstream media. They are just trash. And avoid them like the plague, and be very cynical about what you hear, because they are not about the truth. They're not about reporting. They're about news suppression, not news reporting. That's my opinion. Anyway, so that was a real insight. But the other thing the MSN reported, of course, they blew this one up. There's an SN8, exactly the same design prototype that had been built, waiting in the wings. So that's all part of Musk's philosophy. Quick rotation, get the SN8 out really quickly onto the pad, and we'll test it with that and see if we can fix up the landing problem they had. That's how he operates, and it's really fast way of learning, and a relatively cheap one. I mean, the cost of these prototypes would be much less than a fully blown rocket, presumably. He's prepared to wear a bit of cost to learn. But they had a mishap with SN9, which was in a high bay, which is a very tall building housing these rockets, because I think it's 160 or 150 feet high. They're pretty tall things. And there was a supporting frame for the SN9, and that had snapped. And what had happened was, they reported that the rocket had fallen over. It hadn't fallen to the ground. All it had done is just leant slightly into the wall of the building where it was being stored. So it was only a slight lean, 10% or so. So again, the media made it sound like it was a major stuff up, but it wasn't. So again, you just can't trust the pricks, basically. And just finally, I'm really worried about the future of America right now. I think that the place appears to be falling apart at the seams. There's a lot of, you're either for Biden or you're against Biden, and I think maybe might be slightly more people against Biden now that the scandal regarding his son is coming out. That was totally suppressed. I mean, it's unbelievable the way that they've tried managing news. And then they came up with all that BS about the Russian conspiracy, how the Russians were basically propping up Trump. Just for 4 years they kept up with that crap. And it was just fantasy land. They have zero credibility. And I think America is getting to the stage where it could actually split, whether it's a civil war or just there'll be a group of free states with Texas leading the charge. There's talk already from a politician in Texas talking about splitting from the Union. And if Florida, Texas and a few other southern states and maybe some other states elsewhere in the Union basically banded together, it would be the end of the United States. And the sad thing about that is, of course, it will play into China's hands, which is not a good thing. So it means the Quad Alliance between Australia, Japan, India and America would actually have to be renegotiated. These are very troubling times, and I hope that that some resolution takes place. But at the moment, people are so angry about the previous election, how it was conducted. I can't see a way out of this. I think we may well be looking at the splitting up of the United States of America, and that would be a bit of a tragedy in that they have been a bastion of freedom for a lot of people, and if they disintegrate, you can't expect Europe to help out. UK, well, Boris has been a disappointment. It's a worry. This has been a very long video, just a bit of a rave. Please, if you enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up or even a thumbs down. Comment, always love the comments. Getting more comments on Bitchute now, which is nice to see. And I'm getting bugger all on YouTube, which would indicate that I am being heavily censored. It's not a good situation. I don't see myself having much of a future there, unfortunately. But if that's the way they want to play it, they want to get rid of all the independent creators, go for it. Like I say, Bitchute is getting better every day. They're getting more features, and I'm happy to support them. So and of course the other thing, if you're feeling super generous, push the dollar button on my Bitchute site. Then you can actually support me through Subscribestar. No one's actually bothered doing that yet, but hopefully if I raise a bit of popularity, I might get a little bit of money just to at least pay for the $10 US a month I pay to have 2 channels on Bitchute. That would be nice. Anyway, look, have a great weekend. Have what's left of it on Sunday. Well, that's over here in Australia and America, and elsewhere you've got more time. But enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll try to keep updating regularly. Bye.